So whether you're a buyer or seller, here's 5 things that you should ask your next agent before you hire them. One is, what is the average price point they work in? If you're selling a property that's a bigger property, it's a farm, maybe it's a $10 million residential home, whatever the case may be, you may not choose to use the agent who is only working in the 700 to 900 townhouse space. There are certain things that come with listing and selling those properties, speaking to buyers, speaking to other agents, conveying the information on the property. If it's a bigger rural property farm, sometimes there's conservation authority and governance and things like that have to be looked at. So having that knowledge and working with an agent that works within that space certainly can be helpful. But again, at the end of the day, you have to trust your own gut. Two would be, how long have they been in the business? And this certainly isn't any judgment towards any new agents out there. But think about it in this light. If you were going to take a flight across the Atlantic Ocean, would you feel more comfortable with the pilot that just received his learner's permit the day before flying the plane, or someone with 1,000 hours of commercial flight time? We all would gravitate to the more experienced pilot. Now, real estate can be the same, but again, it depends on the space, right? If you're selling a quote unquote cookie cutter in townhouse, condo, something like that, where there's lots of data available, yeah, the newer agent might be the right choice. But if it's something that's a little bit more complex, and using my previous example of a farm or something that has maybe it's waterfront, or it has it's governed by a conservation authority, maybe you want to build on it, some of your buyers going to want to build on it, you're going to want somebody that's going to know those ins and outs, know who to contact to get the information if they don't know, and also someone that can properly speak to not only other agents representing buyers, but buyers themselves, and convey the information properly. Another question I would ask would be, what area do they focus in? I get every year I work predominantly in New York region, and more specifically, I work in Newmarket, Aurora, Stouffville, Bradford, but I do get listings and buyer sales in Collingwood, in Halliburton, but generally for me, those are pre-existing relationships of someone I've either done business with before, or their personal contact or referral, so they know, like, and trust me. So again, there is that pre-existing relationship there. But for new clients that I'm talking to that, for instance, said I want to buy a house in Wasaga Beach, I would refer them to someone else in that area. But again, you have to make what choices is best for you. How many houses do they sell a year would be another question. That's not to diminish any agent doing 5 or 10 deals a year, or an agent that's doing 100 deals a year. But where I would draw from that is, if the agent is so busy that they just can't deal with you. I mean, oftentimes I find with me personally, I have clients, when we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, we sold their house and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of buying, I'm showing them anywhere from 5 to 15 houses a week. So, can that agent that you're going to hire, are you going to be working with them exclusively, or are they going to pass you off to somebody else? So again, asking them how many houses they sell a year. And again, if it's one, that's fine. Then they're going to have lots of time to work with you. But if it's 50 or 60, then what are they going to do when it comes down to crunch time for you? Last one I would ask is, do they have any disciplinary actions against them? And I don't mean this in a bad way. Every top realtor that I know, every top realtor that is at the, in the GTA, that's at the top of the list every year, winning all the awards, they all have disciplinary action. And the reason I say ask them is not in a punitive sense, but because oftentimes when we get disciplinary action, and I've had it, myself personally, we learn from that. Right? We learn from the disciplinary actions. We are, it's not just a fine. Oftentimes as realtors, we're asked to go back and, complete a course and, pass that course in order to, get this, sort of put behind us, if you will. So yeah, what disciplinary actions, what have they learned from that? I think those are all very fair questions. And to be honest, disciplinary actions are something that is public knowledge anyway, if you look it up on the RICO website. So with any of these questions, you have to gauge your own, what your own acceptable answer would be. But the one thing I would take away from this is, how does that realtor answer those questions? Are they confident when they answer those questions? Are they calm? Are they kind of sweating it? So, you be the judge. And I'd like to know, actually, in the comments below, you can tell me what other questions that you'd like to know from realtors before you hire them.